Hello all, welcome to chapter 34 from the book of Exodus. In the previous chapters, we saw how the Israelites made themselves a structure to worship, and when Moses saw it, he was angry, and in his anger, he broke the two stone tablets on which God had written the commandments for the Israelites. In the beginning of this chapter, God informs Moses to chisel two stone tablets so that he could write the commandments once again. Moses had to go on top of the Mount Sinai, and nobody was allowed near the mount. Mount Sinai and Mount Horeb are the same mountains, just with different names. We then see when Moses reaches the top of the mount, God meets him. God proclaims that he is the God who is rich in mercy, love, and slow to anger. God also says he will not let the guilty go unpunished, and God punishes the children and their children for the sin of their parents to the third and fourth generation. This verse should not be taken in a literal sense. The generations are just following their ancestral traditions of sin, and therefore they are being punished. This can be best explained in the book of Genesis, chapter 15, where God informs Abraham that he will be giving the land of Canaan to the Israelites. While making this promise, God makes a very important statement, saying that the sins of the Amorites had not yet reached its full measure, and God waits patiently for the people to repent for 400 to 500 years before destroying them. This verse clearly means that the children were performing the same wicked actions as their ancestors, and eventually God punished them for it. Coming back to this chapter, we then see Moses bows down and worships God. Moses requests God to accompany them in their journey into the promised land. God asks Moses to keep his commandments. God reminds all the commands, sacrifices, and festivities that the Israelites had to keep. God makes Moses to note all things commanded to the Israelites as a covenant. Moses was there with God for 40 days and 40 nights without bread and water. So, this again is a supernatural event. Since Moses is in the presence of God, there is no need of the earthly matter of sustenance. We then see God writes the 10 commandments on the two tablets. When Moses came down from the mountain, his face was radiant because he spoke with the Lord. So he put a veil on his face. Towards the end of the chapter, we see whenever Moses spoke with God, he removed the veil. Moses would then pass the commandments that he received from God to the people. Once the commandments were passed, he would put his veil back. This is how the chapter ends. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Until next time, may God bless us all. Bye bye.